Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to a mini episode of Fluently Forward. I saw Wicked, and I have so many thoughts and takes, not really hot takes, but, some, a little bit bathtub water. And I just wanted to share it with you guys because I saw Wicked. I didn't have the Wicked bug. Like, I've never seen it on Broadway. And I saw the movie, and I've been seeing all of these TikToks, and it is layered like an onion. Which, by the way, green character in both Shrek and Wicked. Interesting. Maybe that's why I liked it. And I just kind of want to talk about all of these thoughts that I have had on it. Because I want to get my thoughts out there before somebody else has the same thought as me and puts it on TikTok. Like, so many opinions and everything about Wicked. And also, B, I want to hear your thoughts about it. Just to start at the top, movie was great. Was it too long? Yeah, it was 2 hours and 40 minutes. That is too damn long. It was really well done, though. You could tell, like, you've been hearing all of these things about how the field of tulips was like individually actually planted tulips, and they built that whole shiz, which, why did they call it shiz? But, the boarding school for all of the people of Oz. As you can tell, I don't know much about the lore, but it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. It wasn't as washed out as we were scared it was going to be. Ariana Grande she both kind of scares me sometimes. I look at her a little bit like, what is it? And why are we all perplexed? People are saying it's the shade of blonde. People are saying it's because she just keeps getting skinnier and skinnier. People are saying it's the eyebrows. I don't know what it is. But I do know that if 100 people on the street see someone, and 99 out of those 100 people go, oh, there's something off about that person. But we all can't figure out what it is. I'm still thinking about it. Anyway, that being said, did she do a good job in the movie? She was fucking spectacular. Her voice was incredible. The acting was good. The comedy chops, which leads me into my first hot take, okay? I think the star of Wicked was Ariana Grande. I do. I think it was Glinda. I think it was, Ariana, like, just in the press tour and the buzz, like, her name in a word cloud of, all the press releases coming out. It's absolutely overshadowing Cynthia Erivo, who played Elphaba. And I think we kind of knew this was going to happen. I said over on Patreon, the reason why Cynthia posted that whole thing about, like, they edited the Wicked poster and, like, changed how I looked. And, like, it's the most, like, what did she say? The most offensive thing I've ever seen. And then everybody made fun of her for that. To me, it was just so obvious. It's not about the movie poster, right? It's like when a couple is fighting in couples counseling and they're like, it's because he won't take out the trash. It's not about the trash. It's about something else. And I don't think it was about the movie poster for Cynthia. It was about the fact that she is Wicked. Like, she's Elphaba. And even before the movie even fucking came out, it's like the Ariana Grande show. And I know that they're doing a good job of having, like, both of the girls do interviews together. And I think Ariana is also doing a good job of highlighting Cynthia. Like, it's through Ariana's interviews that I know that Cynthia has an album coming out soon, which we'll talk about this later, but I'm very excited to hear what she does on that album. But it reminded me of the Barbie movie, right? Remember when Barbie came out last summer, and it's this movie all about, toppling the patriarchy and what women have to go through and how complex and layered, just like an onion, Shrek again, being a woman is. But the star of the movie, who everybody came out of the theater going, oh, weren't they just so great? It was Ryan Gosling as Ken. And that's because his part was comedic and he was funny and he had the song. And then even when it was at the Globes or the Oscars, one of those award shows, he sang the song, I'm Just Ken, and everybody was loving it. Like, he really was kind of the star of it, which is a little bit annoying because the whole fucking movie is about female empowerment and being a woman and some other messages that, I personally didn't really get Barbie that much. But I think what's annoying, and it happened again for the second year in a row, is that we finally have a Black woman cast as Elphaba, which makes so much sense. My friend Madison Brown, who's she's on YouTube. This is going to be a YouTube episode as well. If you want to check her out, she does these unbelievable video essays about, like, trending topics and what they mean. Go check her out. But she was saying, of course it makes sense for Elphaba to be a Black woman because this entire story is, first of all, A, skin color, B, the idea of being, like, othered for who you are and made to feel shame and all of these different things. And I know typically it's been the wickedly talented Adele Dazeem, aka Idina Menzel, playing a Jewish woman. And there's also a lot of Jewish stereotypes in there. the pointed nose, the, reptile skin, being so wicked, just like a witch. Like, there are so many different ways that people who feel, different in any sense, other than I think people were saying there were a lot of like MAGA women who were like, Elphaba is so me. I don't think it lines up. But anyway, that's the whole point of the movie, right? If women is to Barbie, then Wicked is to Black women, Jewish women, queer women, people who really feel othered and different by this, white woman fits in with everyone stereotype. And just like Ken for Barbie, who comes out on top of Wicked? It's Ariana Grande everywhere. It's just, I don't know the word for it. I don't, have my take fully formed here, but I just am thinking, And I think part of it is, right, obviously, like there are these institutions, so many systemic things that we have going on that lead to this, but also, the funny character is always the winner, Like you go to any wedding, and even if the maid of honor gives the most heartfelt, touching speech, it's always the fucking best man who like talks about a bunch of jokes or like a college story, and everybody's like, that was the best speech of the night. You know what I mean? It's just an interesting thing that I notice. So I would really love for the next time we have one of these movies, Barbie or Wicked, let's have the main character be a little fucking funny, Like it's okay for there to be humor. I just feel like sometimes, we want to make a point and we don't use humor to do it. Like we think that it's almost what I talked about in the Game of Thrones episode, where it's like, in order to have a strong, female character, she needs to be like deep and serious all the time and not be funny. And funny is relatable. Funny gets a message across way more. So anyway, that was just something that I noticed. Another thing that I noticed is over on Patreon, back when we did book club way back in the day, we did the series Pretties, Uglies, and Specials by Scott Westerfield. And I think it's now like a movie on Netflix with Joey King in it, I believe. And one of the things I noticed in that book, it's such a good series. It's like dystopian, YA, this future where once you turn 16, everybody gets a surgery to basically get Bella Hadid-ified and you look gorgeous and phenomenal, because they realized the big thing in society was just that like ugly people are treated worse. So they decided to make everyone perfectly symmetrical post the age of 16. It was a cool concept. But one of the things they do is when they make you beautiful, they also make you kind of stupid. And they would use these words in the series, like that's so bubbly, that's so dizzy making, like all of these weird kind of slang to show just how stupid these people were. And I thought it was very interesting how in the movie, what's one of those lines? It's like, she's disgusting-ifying, or you're beautifying, all of these kind of weird slang words that go to represent like, oh, this person's being like a little bit simple-minded. Okay, let's talk about Cynthia Erivo. She obviously did a great job. I think she comes from like Broadway. The only thing that I thought was kind of cringe, and I have been singing it around the house, is when it's in the song Defying Gravity. And you know how like they kind of mix in some of the actual speaking parts with the song when you're listening to it on Spotify, because, that's just how it goes with the musical. When she goes, oh, like, don't worry, like, no, don't go for Glinda. It's me you want. It's me. It's me. And she starts singing it. And for some reason, like the singing of it's me, like it just tickles my funny bones so much. It almost gives me the vibe of like, remember when Oprah Winfrey was like, you get a car, everybody gets a car. Like that idea of just singing the third line. Something about, I'm going to try to insert a little bit of it here if I remember. Ooh, it just tickles me.
I'm the one you want. It's me. It's me.
But she did a phenomenal job, and she has this gift. We talked about it over on Patreon. I categorize singers, actresses, comedians. Do you clench my butthole or do you not? And Cynthia does not clench my butthole. Same with Ariana. I mean, they have such incredible singing voices. It's not like a Selena Gomez, Lana Del Rey version where I love listening to them, but if they perform live, I'm like, oh, I don't know how it's going to go. But Cynthia, Ariana too, but Cynthia especially does this type of singing where it's like she's breathing, like it comes out of her so effortlessly, so naturally. And to me, that makes listening to that type of music like 10 times more special, because you're so relaxed, like you feel so taken care of by their talent in a sense. So I think she has like a pop album coming out soon. I'm very excited to see does this album do well and kind of push Cynthia into this like pop girl stratosphere because she obviously has the talent for it, or does it not? Now, another thing I want to talk about, and I spoke about this over on TikTok. I don't know, I posted it recently, so I don't know if people are loving it or if people want to kill me over this. Jeff Goldblum played the Wizard. And in all of these different press interviews that they're doing for Wicked, everybody's like, Jeff Goldblum is zaddy. Like, he is so good looking. And I think wait, let me double check and look it up. But I think he's like fucking 72 or something. Yeah, he's 72. So, he looks phenomenal. I thought we were all on the same page about this until everything started popping up on my TikTok. Like, Jeff Goldblum is so hot. I would drink his green elixir and all of this stuff like that. I thought we all thought he was creepy. I did. Did you? Or do you want to fuck him? I thought it was in the same sense that everybody's like, Ethan Slater is not attractive. George Clooney is. Timothy Chalamet, people go back and forth on. Jeff Goldblum, I just feel like there's something sinister there. Like if you were able to bet on celebrities like stock, I would be like, pull out of Jeff Goldblum because there's a skeleton in that closet and it's going to get uncovered. And he's charming. He hasn't done anything that I know of. I'm going to have to look into it maybe for another episode if I find anything. He's smooth with it. But as I said on TikTok, he's smooth with it in like a Chuck Bass wearing a handkerchief kind of way. You know what I mean? Like, he's got cologne on, but the cologne kind of gives you a little bit of a headache. Like, Jeff Goldblum to me is one of those characters from the board game Clue, where it's like Colonel Mustard was in the library and he killed someone with a candlestick. Something about Jeff Goldblum gives me Clue board game energy. And there's just something a little like, I don't really know what it is, but I think there's something a little creepy about him. I'm even starting to act like him right now. Ooh, the way he does this, like he's kind of touching you with his hands. He's always like molesting the air in a sense. I don't know what it is, but I will say it was good casting because the minute he came on as the Wizard, I was like, don't trust him. Do not trust him. So they cast him really, really well. Yeah. And are we going to skip past the part how like, did he drug Elphaba's mom? What the fuck was in that green elixir? I don't know. People say it'll be solved in Act 2 or whatever. Okay. Real quick, this is a quick one. The child actors, I teared up. Something about anytime you see like a child on screen getting bullied, I remember I heard this like fable. I think I've talked about it before on the podcast. I honestly like can't even say it, but it was, oh my God, it was like so stupid. It was like this story, like one of those stories that like teaches you a lot about life or something. And it was so stupid. It was about this like girl who like, it was just her and her mom like saved up all of this money to get her like a special coat that she wanted because like it would make her feel pretty and fit in with people. And the kids at school like made fun of the coat, so she didn't wear it again. And like, I don't know what it is because I don't even think I was really bullied that much growing up. But my mom would say that I would always come home from the bus and be like really upset about like the older kids who are bullying the younger ones. It is a plague. Like that bullying scene, like I don't know why the tears were just like flowing for me. Anyway, but I think it's because those child actresses of Nessa Rose and Alphaba, they did a really good job. It was the cutest thing. And when they're doing like the sisterly love and she's trying to make her feel better and like showing her the book, I have to stop. I think it's because I have nieces now. Anyway, they did a really good job. Let's go back to Jeff Goldblum being creepy. Okay. This is another thing that I wanted to talk about. The song Popular, right? Even not having seen Wicked, I knew about Popular. It's just such a fun, peppy little song. Everybody loves it. There's so much humor in it. It's just got such a great beat. Fucking love the song Popular. But it made me think deeply about the concept of being popular because one of the lyrics in that song says, I know about popular, like this is my subject. I'm the subject matter expert in being popular. And it made me think that's exactly what it is. There's a difference between being a popular girl and being an it girl. And as someone who was neither but liked to observe everyone in middle school and high school, I think I now realize what the difference is. There is a breed of popular girl and they have nice handwriting. I was always so envious of the popular girls with like good handwriting. They have neat binders. Every hair is in place. You know what I mean? And they are methodical. they work hard. They put effort into being popular. This is where you get your Glindas. This is where you get your Regina Georges. This is where you get your Blair Waldorfs. And they are methodical about it, and they have rules and a formula. So like in the song, Glinda is saying, you know, flip your hair this way, you flirt and you flounce and you do this and you wear these shoes. And, you know, Blair has all of these rules, like we sit on the steps, we do this, we do that. Regina George, we wear pink on Wednesdays, we sit here, we do that. Honestly, it probably comes from kind of this sense of perfectionism or overachieving or anxiety, which is why you're so control freaky about things, because maybe there's a deep anxiety under there. I don't know. You know me, I love to armchair diagnose people. But that is intrinsically very different from the it girl, Serena Vanderwoodson, Elphaba, Lindsay Lohan in Mean Girls. This girl who comes in and kind of frustrates the popular girl because she has all of her rules and ways that she made herself popular. And this it girl just kind of has it. You know, her hair's a little bit messy. Her clothes don't always fit the mold, but she just has something that makes people drawn to them. And that's kind of where the dichotomy is, because the upsetness, I guess, because the popular girl can't stand the fact that the it girl has everything without doing the hard, you know, backbreaking work to become popular. And the it girl doesn't want to be anything like the popular girl because that takes so much work and time. And, you know, I just don't want to do that. I just want to be myself. So I just thought that was very interesting. You know, I'm just always like, any girl who grew up is always fascinated by popular girls and how they get to be that way. And I think that's part of why the song Popular is so enticing. Like, it's what we've always wanted. Please do give me the guidebook. I would love a glow up montage where you make me over and find a haircut that works for me. Like, everybody wants that so bad. And that's why it's so tantalizing to people when Glinda's singing it. Like, I'll show you to be popular. And, you know, I'm sitting there in the theater with my notebook open, like, okay, what's chuggy? God, I just thought it was so good. Another thing that I thought was interesting, do they ever talk about, like maybe in the show or in the book, everyone at the school wears blue? Glinda is the only one wearing pink all the time. And it's interesting that Elphaba, just because, you know, she has the green skin, she also kind of has her own color palette. Like, they both have color palettes that are going against the school. I'm sure it means something, but I never took any of those classes in college. I just kind of thought about it. Oh, this is what I was thinking. Glinda tries to be different, right? Like, she's purposely being like, look how different and better I am than everyone. But Elphaba's just like, I am who I am, different and better than everyone, because she's got the power. Another quick note that I had, I like Frankie Grande. You know how everybody makes fun of him? Like Frankie Grande riding Ariana Grande's coattails and things like that. I just think he does it in a sincere way. And I haven't really looked deeply into their relationship, but from the little clips that I've seen, it's very different than like Patrick and Jackson Mahomes. That's somebody riding somebody's coattail. But I feel like Frankie Grande is just so freaking proud of Ariana Grande. And I don't know, I like their relationship. Okay, seventhly, another thing that I thought. Bisexual. It's giving, obviously, it's giving bisexual throughout a lot of the movie, or perhaps just gay. I mean, the song Loathing, where they're like, what is this feeling that I'm feeling, where my face is flushing and I can't stop thinking about you? It must be because I hate you. Any bisexual girl who's gone through high school, like, raise your hand if you've experienced that. It's giving, you know, Obsessed by Olivia Rodrigo. It's giving Lacey by Olivia Rodrigo. I really like all these Olivia Rodrigo songs. Oh, another point, by the way, back to the original popular girl versus it girl. Taylor Swift is popular girl. Olivia Rodrigo is it girl. I've said what I've said. All right, we're going to continue. Anyway, it's a little bit bisexual, and you know, obviously, literally, they were roommates, they were best friends, they're singing about their big feelings for each other, they're touching each other in every single press interview they do. Like, you know, obviously all the signs are there. I don't think anything happened between them. I think they're just like theater kids having their moment, which is probably like even more satisfying than a climax, is like, you know, getting to be in Wicked as a theater kid. Like, my God. But the part of it that really stuck out with me as bisexuals, right? Because we talked about, you know, a Black woman playing Elphaba, a Jewish woman playing Elphaba, a Black queer woman, right? Queer woman playing Elphaba. And that scene where they're about to get on the broomstick and Elphaba's like, come with me. And Glinda's like, I I think I'm going to stay here. To me, it gave me the feeling of when a bisexual girl dates a lesbian and the lesbian's like, great, let's do this and be in a relationship, like come out of the closet, let's do it. And the bisexual girl's like, actually, I'm also attracted to men, so like I'm probably going to end up with a man. So that was just kind of like another layer. For some reason, when I watched that scene, I was like, even though I would be the bisexual one, I was like, it's kind of giving that to me. That's kind of what I see in it there. Something that I will say too about the movie, and then I will just end with some cast drama thoughts. I wanted there to be more montages. First of all, I love a good montage. Like, give me a montage every single day. I love, love, love a montage. I think that's why the David Dobrik vlogs were so good. He was really good at making a montage, you know? But we needed 2 montages specifically, and I think the movie suffered without them. Number 1, they're friends because they did a chicken dance and now suddenly Elphaba and Glinda are friends. Where's the montage of them, scissoring, going apple picking, doing all of these things, like helping each other? It's just like all of a sudden they became friends and it just was not real. And maybe they did that on purpose because it seems like it wasn't a real friendship. Like Glinda was just kind of still being transactional about it all. But I needed a montage to get me there, and I did not get there. The second montage I needed was a little bit more work of Elphaba with the spells. Like we just see her kind of sucking at spells, and then she like reads the book and she's the most powerful person of all time. And I was like, what? It's like giving that AP student who's like, oh my, I didn't even study for the quiz. I hate doing homework, but I got an A+. And it's like, I hate you because I studied all week and I got a B. So I would have liked a little montage. I love a good montage of like, I was bad at this, but Mulan, one of the best montages of all time. I used to have it as my phone lock screen when she puts those 2 weights together and she fucking goes up that pole and there's the sweat on her face and she does it while everyone's asleep, because that was me as a kid, like, working on the saxophone because I embarrassed myself when recital solo and then just practicing until my fingers ached. And it feels so good when you finally get that result. So I think that those 2 montages would have helped because then their friendship would have felt so good because we saw them work at it, or her being this powerful witch would have been so great because we saw her work at it. I would have liked to see a little bit more of that. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about, the real people. I think Ariana Grande was great in the movie, and I think that she probably is a nice person, just like Glinda. There's these stories of her like paying for people's dinners and she's always so nice. And even when, Elvira or whatever is mean to her, she's still nice back. Okay. I think, I want to be semi-delicate with how I say this because this one's going public, but I don't know if we would be treating Ariana Grande this way and with this much sympathy if she looked a little bit different, okay? And I'm just going to use the example I've used before. Megan Thee Stallion was fucking shot. She was shot in the foot, but she was shot. And she has gotten maybe a 200th of the sympathy that Ariana Grande has gotten just for the Wicked tour. Like everybody's treating her and coddling. And I understand that Ariana Grande has trauma in her life. Absolutely. I'm not saying she's had, even though she's like this millionaire celebrity, I'm not saying she's had an easy life. She's had really tough things happen. But she is being coddled to the point, everybody's, is she what, 31, 32? And everyone's like, this young woman, this delicate little flower. It just has me raising my eyebrows like her a little bit. And, I think she's talented. I think she did an incredible job on the movie, but it's not lost on me. It's getting harder and harder to separate the art from the artist. And as her and Ethan Slater and everybody's saying, this is the happiest time of my life, the red carpet, the press interviews, I'm crying because it's so emotional. Oh my God, this is everything I've ever wanted. Your happiest month of your life with the Wicked premiere is Ethan Slater's ex-wife. It's probably the most miserable month of her life. Having to see all of this, having, both of them get all of their flowers, the fact that they're now slow dripping photos of themselves to get like the public more accommodated to their relationship. I don't know. And everyone keeps saying too, like, it's not it's not the story of how her and Ethan got together. She was not the villain in it at all, of course, because he is, but they're like, nobody did anything bad. And Bowen Yang, remember, like a year ago, kept saying, like, if people knew what I knew, like Ari has not done anything wrong whatsoever. And we even made a little game of this over on Patreon, trying to guess in what possible world could Ethan Slater and Ariana Grande have done nothing wrong, despite the fact that Ethan left his wife, who he had been with like since high school, and his, what was it, a 6-month-old baby or a 9-month-old baby, to be with Ariana Grande? In what world could that not have been doing something wrong? And there were 2 things I came up with, only 2 things that I could possibly think of. Number 1, the baby isn't his. And number 2, she cheated on him with his father, because I looked up if he has any brothers, and I think he just has sisters. So either the baby isn't his because she cheated, or the baby isn't his and also she cheated with his dad. And that's the only thing I can think of. So I don't know. Whatever. Did you guys see all those tweets about how both Cynthia and Ariana are defying monogamy because Cynthia is with Lena Waithe? We talked about it a little bit over on Patreon, and there was overlap for both of them. So who knows what will happen? Those were just some of my initial thoughts about everything from Wicked. Let me know what you thought about this. Did you like the movie? Will you be seeing Act 2? Are they done with it already? This movie must have made bonkers money despite all of the advertising they did for it. And they did too much advertising. It almost got to the point where I wasn't going to see it on purpose because I was just bothered about being advertised to so much. I feel like with the economic times that we're in, the way that ads are being crammed down our throat, getting text messages at this point, it's too much. It feels offensive when you've been advertised to, doesn't it? Or am I just taking it too personally? It could be a little bit of both. So anyway, let me know what you thought about Wicked. I'm dying to hear everybody's thoughts. Do you also think Jeff Goldblum is creepy, or am I alone in this? And if you have any other ideas on who's a popular girl versus an it girl, I think that could be a very fun episode, a little game show we could do about that or something. So thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you next week for another episode of Fluently Forward. Bye, guys.